For those of you that aren't, just chill. See, we're gonna get down to the other stuff here in a minute. But what I'm always trying to get everybody to understand is everything is vibration. So, before we do anything else, just vibe. Just let it seep in. And understand everything is vibration. Make sure y'all hit the like button as you come in my front door. And in doing so, understand this is not about ego. Oh no. This is about algorithm. It just helps us expand the platform. That way, if you're not trying to hear what I'm trying to say, at least we can get out to the next motherfucker who is. We in this thing for real.
JP Productions.
You need to steal a smile while you can. We got the moon in Capricorn. Shit could get serious. So, we're gonna take just a few minutes. Just a few minutes to let a few more people trickle in. And then I'm gonna touch on the transits real quick. I'm gonna elaborate on the aspects as fast as possible. And then I'm gonna open the floor up for questions for an hour or so. Because the sun now sits at 29 degrees of Virgo. So we're in that AnOrEtIc degree. And with the moon also in Capricorn, it's about facts over feelings. So, we're gonna keep it all the way trill today. If you have anything in your chart that you're concerned about, and you've had other people sugarcoating it, or you want to hear the real, today's the day to holler at me. Today is that day. And before I even go there, if you haven't smiled yet today, this is my personal invitation for you to do so. I mean, like right now. And if you can't find a smile for yourself, please, just allow me to be the smile on your face. Because at the end of the day, all I am is the smile on your face. All I am is the motherfucking vibe. And you need to jam while we can, because we finna cut this shit off and get straight to the facts in just a second. Yeah. Fuck you mean. It's time to get to work. Just let it hit you. How's everybody else doing this afternoon, or this evening, or tonight, or this morning, depending on where you are in the world? It's 3:26 in Narnia. Do you know what your motherfucking vibe is? Tiger Lily. Yeah, I like that. I like that a lot. And I didn't have time to prepare a top 5, and really, I wasn't in the mood for doing all that playing anyway. We'll come with the top 5 on Monday. Yeah, I said Monday for sure. Super juicy. That's how I get it. I need at least 2 more people to hit the like button before we even think about getting started. And that's just a matter of respect. This is not about ego. This is about algorithm. This just helps us expand the platform. That way, if you're not trying to hear what I'm trying to say, at least let us get out to the next motherfucker who is. Once again. Now, let's talk about what we got going on cosmically. Because there's a few things that are worth mentioning. First of all, when I say we're in this AnOrEtIc astrology session, I'm referring to the fact that the sun is now sitting at 29 degrees of Virgo. So it's sitting in that AnOrEtIc degree. So, oh, man, the overthinking, the overcriticism, the detail-oriented thought processing, it could get the best of you today. It definitely can. See, this is all of that Virgo energy coming to a culmination here. And it's a lot to deal with. Oh, it's a lot to deal with. And then the sun is also coming into this square with the moon. Well, it is square to the moon, but it's out of sign right now. And so it's coming to the square of the moon, but it's still trying to Pluto. So, hey. And what's crazy is it's square to the moon in Capricorn right now at 29 degrees of Virgo, but also trine to Pluto in Capricorn at 27 degrees of Capricorn. So on both ends of this, there's some serious feelings in the mix. On both ends of this, it's real easy for you to forget how positive life can be. Feels like you're stuck in the grind. And in some people's mindset, it feels like, man, I don't know if things are gonna get better, but it will. It will. This is just a momentary thing, all right? Now, tomorrow, we're in a whole different energetic expression. But for right now, today, at 29 degrees of Virgo, what other choice do you have but to grind it out? Because when you wake up in the morning, we're at 0 degrees of Libra, and life is a lot more beautiful. But the sun will still be square to the moon. No, it won't be. The sun is just square to the moon today. I'm tripping. Because the moon is going to be moving too. I don't know how I got that mixed up in my own brain. But yeah, overthinking. Now, that right there is going to bring us to what the moon is doing. And the moon, like I said, is at 0 degrees of Capricorn. So this weekend might not be a lot of fun emotionally. I'm just gonna keep it real. You might have a lot of people might have stuff to do this weekend. Whether it's for their kids, whether it's in preparation for next week, whether it's for their job, whatever it is, there's gonna be a lot of people who feel like they can't really enjoy themselves this weekend because they have other responsibilities, or it's gonna kind of feel like you can't do what you wanna do. And it's just that Capricorn effect. And that right there, it feels like whatever you're doing, it's in the spirit of getting ahead of everybody else, because you feel like your situation with the moon in Capricorn is always being compared to everybody else's, whether it's your emotions and, well, they could take it, I can take it, or whether it's, you know, other situational things. The moon in Capricorn, as crazy as it is, it makes people pay attention to what other people have going on. And it makes people start to compete and compare. Because there's this dualistic mindset that sets in where if one person is winning, then another person must be losing. And so things are going to be taken a lot more serious this weekend. It's just like a more brutish emotional nature. The moon is in detriment in Capricorn. And so that feeling nature of all of us can actually feel a little bit bottled up. It'll be a little bit bottled up. Now, some people are going to get a reprieve, because you have to understand there are some people who have Capricorn in their 5th house. Those damn Virgo risings. And so this might be the time where what they do is what they've had planned. And so that's something to think about when you're looking at that in perspective. Now, Mercury, and wait, the moon is sextile to Saturn. So that's ironic in itself, because that moon in Capricorn is sextile to Saturn in Pisces. And so, yeah, this is where you just, this weekend, there is certain stuff you just gonna have to deal with it. Like, you just gotta deal with it. And it's like, man, I would rather be doing other stuff. There's this, that. So you might get a reality check, pardon me, when it comes to the way you feel about something, or to you know, you being able to control yourself in a certain situation and realizing that that's just not the mature thing to do. So that's something interesting to look at for yourself, whatever's going on for you. For me, I have the moon coming into a conjunction with my Neptune, which sets off everything else. That means it's opposite my sun, and what else? Opposite my sun, that means it'll sextile my moon as it goes over and do all this other stuff. So for me, and it's in my 4th house, so for me, this is the usual shit. It's just, you know, try to make sure that we're not picking at other people. That's the biggest thing with Capricorn and Virgo, especially for these next few hours with the sun at 29 degrees of Virgo and the moon just getting more and more ingressed into Capricorn. Like, you can take things too seriously, and you can find yourself kind of being an ass to people, or you can find yourself looking down your nose at people too. Yeah, you. And you're like, I'm not like that, I don't judge, but you could be more judgmental over these next few hours. And I mean, Virgo, Mercury's not gonna help any. Even though Mercury's at home in Virgo, and it's a great sharp expression of Mercury, it's still not very friendly. It's not the communicative and bubbly energy of Gemini. No, it's more the sharp, stick to the facts. Let's make sure we're taking care of the details we need to take care of, and keep the rest of that bullshit to yourself type energy. Yeah. That's the vibe. Kenzie, I got you this weekend. It'll be there before the end of Monday. I got set back with everything I was doing, but I have already started working on yours. I actually just have to finish a few more things in the recording process. So I will have your reading to you by Monday afternoon. So my sincerest apologies for the delay, but I got you. All right. And Cynthia Renee, I got you as soon as I get done with Kenzie's. But I had some setbacks with my equipment, so I had to make sure everything was right on that. Now, that right there brings us to Venus. And Venus is now at 18 degrees of Leo. And so Venus is sextile to Mars, right? That's that finesse. That's pride in our relationships. That's passion, that's creativity. That's all of that stuff right there. That's beautiful in its own right, all right? But it's also trying to Chiron in Aries. So the beautiful thing is you might make a mistake. Or you might see yourself actually having some type of fundamental conflict with somebody, especially with Mars also opposite to Chiron, now that I think about it, in Aries. Like this weekend, there might be something that happens that you try to smooth over, but it causes more of a conflict than it would have if you would have addressed it. That's where we're going to be at with this. And so that makes you aware of the way that you do things. And you see, nah, you know what? Maybe I do need to be a little bit more straight up from now on. And so that's going to be a theme played out for a lot of people. Not everyone, but a lot of people. There's going to be a lot of people who, over the weekend, there's going to be something that they tried to smooth over and they tried to make it not a big deal, or, you know, just to keep the peace or to keep a situation harmonized or to compromise. But it's going to end up backfiring, and it's going to end up being like a more of a conflict. And it just is Chiron really pulling your tail to, hey, you should have really just did what you wanted off the rip, or you should have asserted yourself straight up, because the other way of doing it right there didn't do anything but waste energy and produce frustration. All right. And so that's usually going to be something in our relationships, because that's Libra and Aries. And then, like I said, it's Venus sextile to Mars and trying to Chiron, while Mars is opposite to Chiron. So all of that right there is working together in order to bring light to a situation, whether it be something with our finances or be something in our personal relationships. But with Aries and Libra, I usually lean towards relationship stuff. Now, that brings us to Jupiter. And see, Jupiter is sitting at 15 degrees of Taurus. And it's retrograde, just like all of the rest of the planets that we're going to speak on now. And it's going to be retrograde until, as I've told y'all, New Year's Eve. So throughout the rest of 2023. And what you see with that is people getting stubborn, stuck, lazy, complacent. You see people getting greedy. You see people not wanting to share. And when I say people, I mean you. I mean you. People forgetting that money is easy to make. And money's not going to stop being easy to make. The world is not changing. You have to understand that. The world is not changing. It's the retrograde doing something to you inside. And then because of that, people don't want to pay what things are worth. And that's a whole problem in itself. That's just what it is. Now, Saturn is retrograde at 1 degree of Pisces. Saturn is going to be retrograde until November 4th. So we have about a little bit, like 5 or 6 weeks of Saturn still being retrograde. So Saturn is going to get to 0 degrees of Pisces. It's going to station there, and then it'll stay there for a while, and then we'll start once again progressing back through Pisces, up, going through it again. And so the things that you've been avoiding and the things that you know now that you've been ignoring, you're going to have to address. And it's just for emotional maturity. It's just for emotional maturity. So for these next 6 weeks, let's look at the spotlight of what Saturn's doing, wherever this is in your chart. Wherever you have, let's say, 4 or 5 degrees of Pisces, all the way through 27 degrees of Aquarius. Wherever that window of degrees is in your chart, there's some stuff going on there for you that you're gonna have to confront right now. And this is the time where you have a realization where you can't hide it from yourself, you can't ignore it, you can't escape it, you know it, you can identify it, but you have to give yourself the emotional maturity enough to just understand you have to deal with it. And then on the other end of this, we deal with it. And then it comes the maturing point. Regardless of what happens, life happens to everybody. You can't ignore, avoid, or escape it. The only thing you can do is deal with the feelings. Only thing you can do is help yourself with your reaction to what's going on with Pisces. This is not a masculine energy. This is a receptive energy. It's feminine. So what comes along, you have to deal with it as it comes. All right. Now, that right there brings us to Uranus. And Uranus is at 22 degrees of Taurus. And Uranus is retrograde until January 27th. And that just means, for right now, things are going to be a little bit calmer externally on the financial front. But that doesn't mean that they're getting better. That doesn't mean that you can just get comfortable. No, that means this right here is the time for you to take inventory and take stock of what you need to work with moving forward, because there's going to be more stuff that happens. Next year is going to be even more chaotic, just like this last year was chaotic. Every year that Uranus has been in Taurus, something crazy has happened that has shook the market financially all over the world. Whether it's conflicts, whether it's pandemics, whether it's trends, whether it's embargoes falling apart. I mean, there's all kinds of things that have happened. Whether it's some new thing coming out that people say is going to change the game and just getting people to invest, and it turning out to be a bust, like NFTs. And so the thing is, there's not going to be a lot of craziness going on right now. Not till the next year. So things will calm down, the market will flourish, because it will be the holiday system, and it doesn't matter if you celebrate the holidays or not. It doesn't, and it has nothing to do with Uranus being too fixed. Uranus is too stubborn or stuck or comfortable. Uranus likes chaos. I mean, Taurus is too comfortable. Pardon me, not Uranus. Taurus is too comfortable. Uranus likes chaos. Uranus is going to be in its fall in Taurus, but it's going to be exalted in Scorpio, which is also fixed. But the chaos of Scorpio, the intense changes, and the depth of Scorpio is a perfect place for Uranus to operate. Whereas Taurus is solid, it's not wanting all of that movement. It doesn't want to do all of that changing. And so that's why with Uranus and Taurus, there's been all of these crazy fluctuations in the financial market and the way things are, and it's hard for people to get a grasp on hold. And it's not just technology. The fact of the matter is, COVID-19 completely changed the way that the world does business. A lot of those service industries and restaurants that were flourishing before the pandemic do not flourish now. The delivery system is the way that is really flourishing for the food business now. They had those opportunities available for people, but they weren't there. Being able to work from home is a big thing for people. A lot of people aren't even going to consider employment unless they're willing to work from home. Unless they're willing to work from home. And so the nature of business has changed completely. And so there's a lot of people who are stuck in the way that things used to be. And then their businesses have went out of business, or they've ended up losing money, or they end up just feeling like everything that happens is a devastating experience, and they're mad and they're not comfortable in their life because they don't know. But the fact of the matter is, what you need to do is have an open mind, because if you pay attention to the market and you have an open mind to the way things are happening, there's actually unique opportunities for you to prosper. There's a complete different way for you to make money now. There's so many different ways for you to flourish. But there's also this thing where people are lazy because they gave out a whole bunch of free money in the pandemic. And now also they have these apps where people can beg for money. So begging for money has also become a part of the culture. That's actually a full-time hustle for some people. Scamming and begging for money. Even the criminal enterprises have changed completely. Like big time scamming just came out in the last 5 or 6 years, to where you can't even walk through Walmart or walk through the mall without them scanning your card in your pocket, and you ended up getting somebody trying to charge your card for some shit that you did not try to purchase. And so the nature, I'm not hating on anything, but the nature of business, in essence, has changed all the way around. And you either gonna roll with it or get rolled over. So if you're not open-minded, everything that happens is gonna be a devastating experience for you. And that right there is the fundamental problem of Uranus and Taurus. So while things are calm right now, while the Fed decided not to raise the interest rate in America, while there's not any major wars besides the Ukraine and Russia, while things are brewing, this is the perfect time for you to set yourself up and know things can get crazy next year or the year after that. Set yourself up to know there's no way to know what's going to happen. And so you need to know, how adaptable are you? Not how solid your situation is. How adaptable are you? And that will help you get through these times. And I need at least 8 people to hit the like button like right now before I get mad and go home. And that's just a matter of respect, like I said, because I'm going hard. Now, that does bring us to Neptune. Neptune is retrograde also at 26 degrees of Pisces. And Neptune is going to be retrograde until December 4th. And as simple as this can be, for something that really can't be simplified, this is a different perspective. We are seeing things differently now that this is retrograde than we saw before. And a lot of people are changing their mind about certain stuff. Their beliefs about certain things are changing. And how foolish and fickle of them. It's okay for your perspective to change without your belief changing, because your belief should come from inside. Your perspective is of something external. So you have to figure out what you believe so that your perspective stays solid. Fuck the trends, fuck what everybody else is doing. Fuck the different layers of reality that are created constantly. Find out what your reality is, and that happens to do with you finding out what your purpose is inside of yourself and sticking to that, regardless of any external circumstances. Pardon me for stuttering there. Now, that does bring us to Neptune being sextile to Pluto. And I like to explain this aspect, even though I say the same thing over and over again. See, Neptune sextile to Pluto represents a process. With these both being retrograde, it can be a process of disenchantment. Life is fucked up. You're seeing things a different way. It's like a reality check. You don't believe in shit. You come disenchanted with stuff. It's like, man, that good feeling that you had about certain stuff is gone, so you don't even feel like it's worth the effort. Well, as things start to come out of retrograde and go direct, that's when you get a chance to become inspired again. That's where you find your muse to make changes. Because this process is not something that's going to happen overnight with Neptune sextile to Pluto. No, this is something that takes place gradually. Because if we went and overthrew the government and defunded the police and just legalized all drugs and just flipped over everything, it would still be chaos that probably resulted in apocalypse. So if the world needs to be a better place, it has to be a process. But that process has to start with you being a better person. And you have to be willing to start that process. And that starts inside of you. Now, that also brings us to Chiron. Speaking of which, Chiron is retrograde at 18 degrees of Aries. And Chiron is going to be retrograde until Boxing Day, which is the day after Christmas, December 26th. And with Chiron being retrograde here, this is about holding yourself accountable. And it's funny that all of this stuff, even though it might not be aspecting the other things closely, it's related. There's a process going on here with the cosmos. And if you take advantage of this process, it can really help you grow in a whole bunch of fundamental ways. And it's not going to be easy or fun, but it's really going to help you boss up. It's going to help you become more emotionally mature with Saturn, and it's going to help you get your life in order. And it's going to help you prepare for the times that are ahead, which are going to be hard. That's why we're going through Capricorn right now. And then when Aquarius comes, like, hey, that's when you realize, like, hey, things are going to be different. And you can't, I should have expected the unexpected. I should have been prepared for anything that could happen that was going to knock me off. And so after that, you have Aries. And I've warned y'all before, like, there's going to be some conflicts coming up. The world is not about to calm down. Things are not about to get better in the next 20 years for the world. Things are going to get more conflicted and turbulent. Now, after that, there's a possibility, but there's also a possibility that there ain't no physical world. I'm being honest with you. Since we're at this AnOrEtIc Virgo degree and we're at 0 degrees of Capricorn, I'm going to keep it all the way 1,000 with you. With Neptune in Taurus and Pluto in Pisces, there is no guarantee that there will actually be a physical world in 20 years. Funny that Pluto in Aquarius, Neptune in Aries, and Saturn in Aries bringing this about. Uranus in Gemini. Uranus was in Gemini in almost every major world war that we've had, including most of the wars we've had here in the United States. Saturn in Aries is Saturn in Aries. Pluto in Aquarius has also known to bring revolutionary times. But on the other end of that, like I said, is Neptune in Taurus, sextile to Pluto in Pisces, because those sextiles between Neptune and Pluto bring about big time changes in the world. So we go from Neptune in Aries and Pluto in Aquarius, and then it brings that sextile of Neptune in Taurus and Pluto in Pisces. Which, hey, that could mean there's no material money, there's all that stuff, no paper money anymore. That could mean all that, but it could also mean that there is the illusion of a new earth or the disillusion of the material world with Neptune in Pisces. And I mean, Neptune in Taurus. And then Pluto in Pisces could also mean something very close to that. It can mean ultimate forgiveness, the process and the transformation into forgiveness time, or the transformation into the spiritual realm. I don't think New World Order. I think end of the physical world. Not New World Order. No. End of the physical world. like for real. It's not going to be there might be people that are left and there's the illusion of peace after that. And I'm not fatalistic. I hope not. I have children. I hope I'm wrong about that. And I'm not saying that that's what's going to happen, but there could be that. There is either a transition into forgiveness, which would be great for the world, and the illusion of peace on earth with Neptune and Pisces and creative times and, times where things are just so different here, or with Neptune and Taurus, or like I said, there is no more physical. So that is a definite possibility, but that's also a possibility that you have to address within yourself every day. Now, Lilith is at 28 degrees of Leo. And once again, with Leo, Lilith, your ego takes center stage. This is where people take things a lot more personally than they normally would. This is where situations get blown out of proportion. This is where you see people doing extra shit for attention. It's crazy. People are so caught up in playing this character, but really they just need to find out about the things within themselves that they're not proud of and that makes them insecure. And identifying those things and dealing with those things gives you real pride. It gives you true confidence, which sets you free. Because then nobody can knock you down. Nobody can humble you. When you're aware of your weaknesses, you can't be humbled. When you've accepted them, you're unfuckwittable. See, the problem is people tell you something about yourself, or people come out and bring something about that you're not comfortable with, and then it hurts you, and then your pride gets involved, and then now you acting a fool and showing your ass and making things worse. Full example, the situation I got into with my son's coach the other day. I was very respectful. All I did was tell him, hey, this isn't right. The way you're doing this isn't right. And he blew up and screamed and hollered and made a point because he got called out on something. But it's because his ego was in the way. Then it's get off my field, don't come back. But the fact of the matter is, I just told you something that you didn't like about yourself. It happens. Now, speaking of humbling yourself, I want y'all to be on the lookout in the next couple of days for me to drop. I said dropped. For me to drop. For me to drop the astrology of Jermell Charlo versus Canelo Alvarez. We have a big fight next week. Two undisputed champions in boxing fighting against each other. And so I'm gonna go ahead and give my astrological prediction and assessment of what's going on with that. That was wildly popular last time. We had over several thousand views in just a 24-hour period. And so I feel like I should have posted it earlier. I probably should have did this 2 weeks ago, but we're gonna do it sometime this weekend. So there's a week for people to look at it before the fight and for people to make their bets accordingly. Because I've already put the work together here. I have a few pages of work. They're looking at their charts and really breaking down and what's going on with them personally and what's gonna go on with them both and related to that night of September 30th. And so that's gonna really put it into perspective. And if you're a gambling person, hey, this is the one to put some money on. Because I got you. I got you. So that will be sometime this weekend. The astrology of Jermell Charlo versus Canelo Alvarez. And Jermell Charlo happens to be a twin. And his brother happened to get the fight first, but his brother wasn't mentally, he's not in a mentally stable place, so he gave it to his twin brother, who happens to be the better fighter. It's a very interesting occasion, but we'll talk about that when we come to it. Now, the nodes are now at 25 degrees of Aries and Libra. So you're gonna have to check your codependency. You're gonna have to check the sugar coating. You're gonna have to watch out that you're not letting other people's moods, opinions, thoughts influence your life so much. You gotta do you. You gotta do what you're supposed to do for you and what's right for you. Period. You can't take no for an answer. This is your life. I need 5 people to hit the like button for me, all right? And so, A is a 2, a 20, and we're in a 22 connotation with it because it is the 22nd, and that's interesting in itself. See, the 2 is the rarest life path in numerology. So having a 20-day or a 2-day is one of the rarest days that there are. So this is a perfect day for you to build on your relationship. See, that master vibration is in there with that 22. And we do have Virgo and Capricorn in the mix. So what are you building? What legacy are you leaving? What are people gonna relate to you when it's all said and done? Let's hope it's peace, harmony, balance, empathy, growth, and understanding. Because regardless of who I was 5 years ago, 10 years ago, 15 years ago, even 20 years ago, that's what they can say about me now. That's true. And so the floor is now open for any questions anybody has. We'll be here for another 45 minutes to an hour answering any questions that anybody has about their chart. And if you're worried that somebody sugarcoated something, or if you're worried that somebody's not gonna tell you, hey, this is what it is, this is the perfect time to get at me because I'm not pulling any punches. If you have something going on in your chart, or if you have something going on in your numerology, or if you have something going on with your synastry and you feel like, hey man, this might be fucked up, let me know and I'll let you know if it's fucked up right now. I'll let you know. If I think you're gonna die, I'll let you know that. So, let's get to it. Just make sure you leave your feelings at the door. Leave them feelings at the door. And if not, I'll just sit here and just chill. But yeah, I'm here for any questions y'all may have. Young God. What a cracking, cuz. We'll sit here and vibe the whole time. Why do Aquarius do the opposite of what people tell them or suggest? It's that rebellious nature of Aquarius, but I just laugh because my son is like that. Like, I can't stand that shit. Like, my Aquarius son, he does not listen. That's what he gets. Like, I don't know how many times a day he gets told that by me and his mom. Like, bro, you do not listen. Like, why are you not listening to me? Like, I told you something and you sat here and said, yes, sir, and no, sir, and yes, ma'am, and no, ma'am. And then you still did the complete opposite. Like, you deliberately disobeyed me. And I mean, it's just the rebellious nature. And a lot of the times they didn't even hear your suggestion. They're so stubborn, like they don't even realize how fixed in their own mindset they can be. And so the way that they are, they never even considered what you were saying. They just said, yes, sir, or no, sir, or yes, ma'am, or no, ma'am, or they just gave you whatever response they have as a formality. And so a lot of the times they never even considered what you had going on in the mix. They was just doing their own thing from the rip. And them saying anything otherwise was just them being polite when they should have just kept it real off the rip. Now, help me 100. You said you're a Leo rising with Mars and Jupiter and Venus there, and you have a lot coming up this next month, career and academic related. Only thing you're worried about is calming down and accepting new areas, but it's slightly lonely. Let me see. So you're a Leo rising, and you have Mars, Jupiter, and Venus in Leo too, and you have a lot coming up this month. Well, the good thing is there are some Taurus placements as far as Jupiter and Uranus that are there, but it's Jupiter and Uranus, so it's more or less like it's not going to mess you over. They might not help you over, and if it does, it's you yourself getting in the mix. Now, other than that, with Leo, you have Libra season coming up. And the sun's aspects are going to be the most important. Always remember, they're the most prominent. It's not important because there's 3 different realms of understanding with that, like I told you. There's 3 different realms of understanding with that. There's the most important, and that's the moon sign, where the moon is. Wherever the moon is placed, that's the most important thing going on in a chart at any present moment. Because it's setting the mood, it's setting the tone. It's the closest, especially for people in particular, because it's the closest astrological body in relation to Earth. So it has the strongest influence on the tone, the moods, and personality of whatever's going on. And so it's gonna have the most influential energetic signature. Now, the aspects that the sun are making are going to be the most prominent because it's shining light on certain other things in the chart. And so as it sheds light on certain different things, it either in good ways or bad ways, it brings opportunities for things to become fertile, and it brings things, into life. Now, the ascendant point at any given time is the most significant point in a chart because it puts everything into place. It lets you know what's going on. It sets the table. So whether it's an event or a person or whatever, you use that ascendant point in that chart to say, okay, this is the epicenter of the energy, and then everything else here, now we know what's going on around and where it's playing out. And so that's just a small picture into that. Now, with this coming up, we're coming into Libra season. And Libra actually is going to do great with Leo stuff. And if you're a Leo rising and you have Mars and Jupiter and Venus, all that stuff there, then right now it's perfect. The sun is sextile to your Venus. So this is the perfect time as far as your Venus goes. And then it'll square it later on, which that's at the end of the month. That's fine. But over the rest of the time, as far as Jupiter and your rising, that's going to help. Now, that would also mean probably that your midheaven is in Gemini. And so if your midheaven is in Gemini and Libra is coming up, then that's a trine to your midheaven. And so that looks like for career stuff coming up, it's a great time for you. And your stubbornness, calming down and accepting new areas, like you said, is the only thing that would hold you back. But other than that, it's a very fortunate time, both financially because of Libra hitting that second house, and for career moves with the Libra energy of the sun eventually influencing your midheaven and everything else that's going on in there. So just the adjustments that you have to make, and you getting used to meeting new people and communicating with new people is only going to be the only problem I would see getting away with that. But I would have to know everything else in your chart to go. So this is a fortunate time with the sun right now being sextile to your Venus. And then there will be more fortunate times as the sun starts to shine light on, you know, Jupiter, your rising, and then eventually your midheaven also. So, yeah. Thank you for coming to the best. Now, Mars conjunct Mercury, as far as the transit goes, just means that you're speaking your mind a lot more than often. And it depends on what type of person you are, if that's a problem or not. It could be, and Heather, I got your reading right now. I forgot to send it. As soon as I saw your name, I was like, damn, I didn't send Heather's reading. It's done, I swear to God. You will get it before the end of the day. If not, you can cuss me out, call me name, whatever. It's done for real. I'll send it to you right now. It's done. My bad, Heather. My bad. I'm slacking on my Macking. Whenever I have somebody's reading and waiting and I'm live, I feel like they always coming in to check me. Like, I know this nigga ain't live and my reading ain't done. I know he ain't over here playing and jamming and shit, smoking and shit. My reading ain't done. Hell no. Hell no. We'll get it to you. It's done. It's done. Now, yeah, let me go back to what I was saying. Hold up. With Mars and Mercury doing their thing. Was it Mars conjunct Mercury? Let me go back up. Yeah, with Mars conjunct Mercury, that just more or less, it just makes you more assertive. It makes you speak your mind more. Which could cause more arguments and conflicts, or it could make you get more of what you want, or both. All right, Cosmic Dreamer. And even if it's a natal placement, if your Mars is conjunct Mercury in your natal chart, whether it's a trine or not, it's the same thing. Like, you're a very assertive person, you speak your mind, and that's either going to cause a lot of conflicts for you, but it's also going to help you get a lot more of what you want than other people, because you spoke up on it. You didn't settle for less. You said what was on your mind, you spoke on it, and because of that, it just puts you in somebody who also has to be respected. Like, it almost makes you command respect. Even though it causes conflict, it almost makes you command respect in its own way. Now, Cynthia Renee, what do I got to say about transit sun opposite natal Jupiter for a Libra ascendant? Well, I would say, is this in Virgo or Libra? Because that does matter. Are you talking about you have the transit coming up, or this is already happening today? So is your Jupiter in, okay. And so you have a Pisces. Oh, so it's today. You have this aspect going on right now. That just makes you more nervous than you usually are. You're usually able to keep calm and be chill, and you usually don't sweat the small stuff. But today you have a lot of anxiety. You might have a little bit more anxiety. I actually had the sun opposite my Jupiter a few weeks, like a week ago, and I was really nervous. I thought people were following me, and no lie to you, I was just like, man, is that going to follow me? And it just made me a little bit more nervous, and I had a little bit more anxiety than usual, especially with the 12th and 6th house. Me too. My Jupiter is in Pisces at 22 degrees of my 6th house. And so if you have that happening for you right now, it can make you have a little bit more anxiety. It keeps you from being as calm and cool and chill as you usually are. and you're usually able to laugh about stuff, and it just stuff. It just makes you a lot more sensitive. You know, a lot more aware, hyper aware, and so you notice stuff that you usually don't notice, and that can make you not be able to be as calm as you usually are. So, and that causes health issues. Fucks with your gut, irritates you, it gives you headaches, it does all kinds of stuff. But I mean, it is what it is. It is what it is. And by the way, for those of y'all that are into fair energetic exchanges, hit that Cash App for me. The super chat is cool too, but if you fucking with me like that financially and you value me, hit that damn Cash App. Because YouTube takes 50%, or really 43% of everything I get. All right, let me get everybody else's questions out the mix. Yep, paranoid as fuck. Yes, PayPal works for me. PayPal, I have the link for my PayPal is in the description. It's there too. So you can definitely hit that. I encourage you to do so. Everything is accepted. That's all love. But I mean, I'm here going to do whatever I can to serve you anyway. We at 29 degrees of Virgo, baby. And we got the moon at 0 degrees of Capricorn, about to be 1 degree of Capricorn. So I feel like it's my responsibility to help you. So I'm here. Time to go to work. And it's in my 3rd house, so I happen to be accessing my gifts, conjunct my Neptune. So you got me at the right time. But it's funny with the moon coming into conjunction with my Neptune and it being in my 3rd house and with Neptune being in Capricorn, I also want to make sure I'm fairly compensated. That's the problem with Neptune and Capricorn. Neptune and Capricorn could change the world. Like they really could. They are so psychic and receptive in their own way, depending on what house it's hitting for you, that there are some true gifts that people with Neptune and that whole generation had. But the problem is, they want to know what they're going to get for themselves in return. Like, man, like that sounds good, but I got bills. I need to be paid for this. And I do. And I do. Mine is in my 3rd. Tina Clara Marie, you said you have your North Node, Neptune, and Venus conjunct in Sagittarius in the 11th house. So as long as you're positive, you're destined to make a lot of money and have a lot of good spiritual friends, and you're blessed in that regard right there. But also, you have some shady people that might be trying to play on your good fortune. You know, they might think, oh, you're my friend. Could you help me with this or this and this and this and this? And so because of that, they try to play on your positivity, and they want to see if they can, turn you into a sucker. But you're destined to be able to give and, have a lot, and just as long as you stay positive, you'll always get a lot, have a lot coming to you, because the 11th house is the house of gains. It's your net income. It's not it's your gross income. It's not your net worth. And so you have a lot coming to you, and you have a lot of friends, and you have, spiritual and positive people. But because you know so many spiritual people, so many people who claim to be positive, and in this type of community, you have a lot of people who also want to try to scam you, or people that want to try to play on your heartstrings and get you to give them stuff for free or beg you for stuff because they're not in a situation where they're taking care of their business. And that's kind of how it goes. And then you'll have people who try to shame you for what you charge on your business or what you're trying to do because you're in a better position than they are. When the fact of the matter is, they just have to learn how to establish boundaries, or they themselves set their priorities. So yeah, we definitely there. We definitely there. Let me send Heather her reading real fast if I can I gotta get it loaded first. I might not be able to do it till this evening when I get home, but we'll see. Did I miss anybody else's questions? I wish the lighting was better in here, but the daylight, as dim as it is, it's actually drowning out the artificial light, and I don't have my big light here. So I just wish the lighting was better, but I'm always particular about all kinds of stuff. And maybe it's that AnOrEtIc degree on my ass, just making them details stick out to me. Because once again, I want to fidget with my hat. My hat is fucking with me again. This light and the fact that it's not shining the light the way that I want it to, pardon me, that's fucking with me. The fact that I keep stuttering over words keeps fucking with me. And so I'm just like, man, but that's all right. That's all right. Did anybody else ask a question that I happen to miss? Will Lilith still be prominent in the first house even if it doesn't conjunct the ascendant? Lilith is going to be prominent anywhere, but yes, it's still going to show on you. You still have those qualities. Just conjunct the ascendant, that it's going to take over your personality. Whereas in the first house, it's a part of your, it's a part of your primary personality traits. Where if it's conjunct the ascendant, you might have some days or a lot of the time where that's all they see is the Lilith, the worst parts of that sign, whatever that is. Where there's other days where it's like, man, when it's just there in the first house, that's a part of your personality that's definitely prevalent and people definitely notice it. So yeah, not like the 8th house for me where it can stay hidden until they find out and then they end up fucking hating me because I done fucked them over. So, I mean, all of that shit right there is its own way of doing things. There we go, it's better. Appreciate the love, Cynthia. That's real. Thank you for the love. How would someone with Lilith in the first come off? It depends on what sign it is. But with Lilith in the first, you're gonna come off how your rising sign is, but there's gonna be some traits of that sign that, some of those more shadow traits that come along with that sign that people notice about you or that people misinterpret about you. If that makes the most sense. For real. Young God, you said, why do the transits for this winter look so crazy? Sun, Mars, Venus, and Pluto go in Aquarius within the same 2 months. That's how it's gonna go, man. There's gonna be a lot of transitions, especially when we get out of these retrogrades for a lot of people. We once again go into a whole energetic shift because Saturn is like resetting to go back through Pisces, and then Pluto is gonna go straight through Aquarius. We have all of that Aquarius stuff. There's a lot that's going to transpire that really changes a lot of stuff. That's why I said people need to, with Uranus and with the way things are going right now, people need to prepare because things are going to seem calm for this whole season. I almost guarantee it. Things are going to seem a lot calmer, or it's going to seem like something is simmering under the surface. Or what's happening is that discontent is growing, and that forces out the changes next year, which happens to be an election year, which happens to be, and so there's a whole bunch of stuff where there's a powder keg because there's going to be a whole bunch of people who have a point to prove. And so there's going to be some things that happen that like you have no way of being prepared for. So the only thing you can do is keep an open mind about. You feel me? Let me scoot up. So yeah. said in the sign of Libra, and you feel like no matter what, people don't vibe with you. That it can feel like that. That's actually a perfect example. Like there is no harmony with people, and you know it's hard for you to build personal relationships. It's like as cool as you are and as nice as you are sometimes, and it's like you come off as fake. I'm just keeping it real. You want me to keep it real? Like it seems like you're being fake with them, and even if you're not, that's just what it seems to other people. People seem like you're just trying to be their friend, or you're just trying to be nice, or you're just fake nice. People, that's what people see with that Lilith in Libra. It's like you just you just want to be my friend, or you just want to be cool with me, or you're just too like there's something about you that comes across as fake with that Lilith Libra there, and people see you as superficial. And people kind of see you as somebody who's worried about the appearance of things. So it's like you're way more worried about how things look and how you come across to people than how you really are to people. You are way more concerned with whether people like you than whether you're genuine or not. And so a lot of that shit, people pick up on it and they're like, man, anybody rocking with her. I mean, that's the truth. You just come across as somebody who's fake nice and somebody who's not being genuine. And that could be or could not be true, but that is something within yourself that you have to check. Like sometimes you just have to not worry about that stuff with people. Sometimes you just can't be nice to people. You can't be trying to be cool with everybody. Fuck vibing with them. See, even the question in itself, like why people don't vibe with me. Fuck them. When you just be you and you say, man, fuck all that. I'm beautiful. I'm me. Like I don't need nobody. That's when that frees you from that, and you start having real good relationships. What's up, Keeper Weeper? But yeah, that allows you to have healthier relationships. Hold on, let me see what's going on with this. Oh no. My lady feels disrespected. But yeah, hold on. All right, yeah, y'all. Any more questions? Y'all keep them coming. Let me answer my lady real fast. All right. Now, Kenzie K, you said, what are my thoughts on what some of your experience will be with your Saturn return in 11th house Taurus? You're going to see, first of all, like, you might have a point where your money is not as where you want it to be. Financially, you're not making as much money as you usually did or you used to. And then you see people start to treat you different. And that makes you realize that they weren't your friends. Like perfect. Like your money is not the way it used to be. Your situation might change financially for a couple of years or at first. But you will end up making more money in the end. But at first, that financial stuff, that money stuff is going to get in the way. And then you're going to see the people that treat you different. And then you see the people that treat you different, that allows you to adjust your associations accordingly. So, I mean, that's an easy one to look at and predict for you. Super easy. So, I can dig it. We got 30 more minutes. Let's make it count, y'all. Let's make it count. As you can see, I'm on point like your index finger. Tiger Lily, did you ask something? Did I miss your question or something? Hold on, you putting question marks. Did I skip you or something? Ask it again. If I missed one of your questions, ask it again. Because I didn't ignore you. I see you with the question mark. So just if you do have something that I missed of yours, just ask it again. And We'll be cooler than the catfish. What's up, Q? What's up with you? What's up for everybody that's just tuning in, by the way? I'm here answering any questions anybody has about their chart, and if you're something you're worried about and you feel like somebody else has been sugarcoating it for you, I'm gonna tell you the truth. I'm gonna let you know. We in that 29th degree of Virgo, we're in that first degree of Capricorn, so it's only right that we take a serious and practical approach to answering these questions, and we tell you the things that other people might not want to tell you, and we, just keep it real in a way that only I can. Now, Karma 88 or Karma 888, you said, what do I think about Pluto in the first house and that Hades moon? First of all, you feel everything so intensely. And so you feel everything so intensely that a lot of the times you're not sure what your reactions may be to certain situations. So that's why you stick to yourself. Hell, you're so private and secretive that you rarely even let yourself in sometimes. And that's where you start bottling things up till you get these reactions sometimes. Now, if I missed your question, go ahead and help me 100. What you laughing at? But yeah, with Pluto in the first house, with that Scorpio moon, and I mean, sometimes it has to be in the 8th house for that too. But with that Scorpio moon, man, you just feel everything there, man. So just so intensely, and like that shit right there is a danger to you sometimes because you keep it inside of you. You try to control yourself, and those feelings that you have does force changes. It makes you to make changes in your life, because if you don't make some type of change, and if you don't find some type of way to express that it becomes something that's toxic or chaotic, and then it just really ends up being something that will really mess you up. It'll really fuck you up. Did I misspoke or something while we laughing? I don't know. We serious right now. I really, you know what I'm saying? Please don't do me like that right now. Especially when I know you one of the regulars. I'm just not understanding what's funny though. Now, now I'm laughing. But look, with that going on, man, it's just, man, you have to find some type of way to get yourself right. Now, who else did I miss? I'm seeing some questions that I missed right there. No, I saw that. Cynthia Renee, you said, curious about how Saturn and Taurus in the 8th house would affect somebody with Neptune and Sun square Saturn. Are you talking about a transit? Or are you talking about natally? Saturn and Taurus in the 8th house means, I mean, if it's a transit, it means, once again, that they might come into debt, or they might have some financial stuff that comes up, or they might, end up having to pay out a settlement. Nasally. Do I need to say it with my nose? Let me quit. But nah, damn, that tooth looks messed up, man. I gotta get my fucking teeth fixed, man. But anyway, sorry. That brings us to the fact that When it's natally, I would say, that makes a person get into relationships that end up draining their money and their resources. Like they get involved with people and get intimate connections with people where they end up having to take care of them financially, and those people be in debt, and it fucks up their money. And there's people like, and that person with Saturn and Taurus is somebody who really tries to make sure that they have their business taken care of, and they really try to get their money right. But no matter how good they do personally, it's like the relationships that they're in and their associations with people, especially those deep associations, like people be draining their fucking money. You end up taking care of a motherfucker. And so that shit right there, that sucks. It sucks. It sucks. Now, she's a Pisces Mars too. Now, she felt disrespected because of some shit at work. I appreciate the love. Kita, Rich Wealthy, how you doing? Now, let me keep going. Any words of wisdom for a Capricorn moon in the 9th house? Stop comparing your situation to other people. You allow yourself to be a lot more positive if you will stop competing with everybody. And that's hard for you to do because, as I said, with the moon even in Capricorn right now, with that Capricorn moon, you feel like if somebody else is winning, then you got to be losing. Or if somebody else is doing good, then that means you got to be doing bad. And that's not how it goes. You can only do your personal best. And you got to stay positive and try to do that, instead of competing and comparing to everybody so much that you feel foreign in your own self. Your own feelings can feel foreign to you because you spend so much time competing. And so only do you learn the hard way. And with the Capricorn moon, you learn everything the hard way. You learn everything the hard way. Now, what else did I miss? Kenzie K, you said, after looking at your chart, 5th house Scorpio Mars, 10th house Aries Venus, did anything give the vibe of a polyamorous? You're so curious, by the way. I don't know. I didn't look at that. I would have to look at it again. I don't have it just remembered right here. It takes a long time for me to remember somebody's chart. Now, I do have clients that I deal with personally that I'm paid to remember their chart. So I know because they do consultations with me, but I don't know everything about your chart enough for me to just answer that right off the rip. And that wasn't something that I personally look for. You know, there's always a possibility, but I would probably say something like you have a different way of viewing sex and relationships. I would not say you're polyamorous. I wouldn't say that because there's no way for me to just make that determination. And so instead of me offending people or saying something in some type of way in these days, in this day and time, I would just say that you have a very open-minded approach to love and sex and relationships, and it's not conventional. Or I would, it depends on what the aspect is. I would give my assessment of how that's affecting you, but I keep it all the way professional. So I wouldn't, unless we were just, you asked me like now, and when I was looking at your chart, if we had an interactive session and you were just asking me personally, hey, do you see this? And then I could look at it and say, well, yeah, I do see this and this and this, and then I would tell you. But other than that, I just can't right off the rip with that. Now, Kiba Weeba, you said you're wondering what 29 degrees means. Well, 29 degrees means it's the AnOrEtIc degree. That's why I call this the AnOrEtIc astrology session. And what that in essence points to is this is the full culmination of Virgo energy. It's the full swell. So that 29th degree is all of that energy just there. So it's very critical. It's extremely over analytical. It's detail oriented. It's perfectionist. It's hardworking. And so for this time today, it's like, man, you need this for this release. And then you can, this weekend, you can be more beautiful. And so, hey, I'm answering everything I can. Y'all just gotta fuck with me the right way. Now, Q, you said Mars and Leo in the 7th house. And you said you feel like that placement makes you want to rough. I don't think so. It might. Well, Mars, yeah, it does. But it also makes you bossy. With Mars and Leo in the 7th house, it makes you bossy. You yourself kind of look for conflict in relationships, and you yourself are kind of bossy. And what you're turned on by is somebody who can handle you, and somebody who can take control, and somebody who can check that shit, because you have such an attitude. You have, and your relationships kind of bring out that passion in you, and you might not always be like that, but there's something in your relationships that just brings out the sauciness in you. So, hey, you need somebody that can handle you. You need somebody that's gonna let you know. You need somebody that's gonna be able to hey, put that extra shit down and chill the fuck out with that bullshit. So I definitely see that, Q. Now, help me 100. You talking to them? Cynthia Renee, you said Sun in Leo in the 10th and Neptune in Aquarius in the 4th. Sun opposite to Neptune. I'm the same way. It makes you a sensitive person. Your Sun is in Leo in the 10th. You really want to shine. You want people's attention. But with Neptune and Aquarius in the 4th, there is like, you also feel like you're obligated to help other people. And like sometimes you feel like you got to take a step back so you can help other people, or you can let somebody else break through. And so sometimes it feels like you're not ever getting your full shine, and it makes you sensitive and frustrated because you're always having to balance your need for recognition against that need for approval. And so there's that thing with that. Now, let me see what else. Rich Wealthy, you said, can I tell you about money of Jupiter and Capricorn in the 8th house as a 33 life path? It means that you probably will make a lot of money. You might get an inheritance at some point, or you'll have some type of settlement, and you'll have a lot of money or achievements and accomplishments with Jupiter and Capricorn, because you're gonna have a lot of something. You're gonna accumulate a lot of something during your life with Jupiter and Capricorn. And that could be money, because money does bring respect, or it could be certificates of achievement or degrees or something. You're gonna collect a lot of something at some point, especially with it being in that 8th house. And with that 33, the fact of the matter is how can you use that to help other people? It's not about what you can do to prosper and build wealth for yourself. It's like, how can you take that and use that to really help the world and nurture other people? That's the master number 33. So you're, once again, you're going to be afforded a lot of opportunities and chances to really come into that vibration, and you're going to have to go through some hardships before you come into it. But those hardships are allow you to understand that, hey, what you have, you need to be able to keep it, because it's going to help you really help others. But in order to do that, you're going to have to overcome greed and over acquisition and all of that stuff that does come along with some Capricorn energies. So yeah. Yeah. Next. I understand, Rich Wealthy, but that means you come into that money so you can really help other people, and you just can't let greed or you worried about what you're being paid stop you from really getting the blessings that you want, because sometimes you can limit yourself because you have expectations. Like, you can limit yourself because you have expectations. You can limit yourself because you feel like, hey, no, I need to be paid this, or this is, you make these demands that actually stop you. So yeah, hey, we got 10 more minutes. Let's make it count. Maybe 15. Maybe 15, but 10 at the most. I mean, 15 at the most. I said 10. I said maybe 15, then I said 10 at the most. 15 at the most and 10 at the least. So let's make it count, y'all. None of your questions were annoying. We'll see you later, Kenzie K. And I'll have it to you Monday. It'll get to you Monday for sure. By Monday evening. Magic City X was cracking. Hey, Magic City. You said, how would I describe a Taurus sun with a Sagittarius moon? A cool ass like somebody who's cooler than you can even imagine. Somebody, a hedonist also. somebody who really likes to enjoy themselves, and somebody who really values every experience that they have in life, but also just somebody who's as cool as it can be. That's a cool ass customer. For real. For real. That's what that means. Somebody who values every experience and keeps it positive, and they're blessed because of that. But also somebody who's just cool as can be, just cool. Solid and cool. For real. That's how I would describe that. Shout out to the ATL. Shout out to the ATL. Yeah. Or as they used to call it back in the day, Hot Atlanta. Hot Atlanta. I see you, I see you. You get money too. With that Taurus sun, you get money. I love Taurus energy because Taurus energy doesn't ever sell you short or try to fucking bargain with you. Especially with me running a business, dealing with Tauruses is always refreshing because they're not trying to scam you. They're not trying to win in a business deal. It's just like, hey, I want this. I value it. I'm gonna pay what it's worth, and it's never a trip. There's never an issue. With Capricorn, they're gonna try to catch you when it's a bargain, or they're gonna try to talk you down, or they're gonna try to. With Virgo, it's more or less like they want the work done first, and then they'll pay you for what they think it's worth. No, Taurus understands. They understand, and they always pay for what it's worth. So I always respect that. Rich Wealthy, you said, why is the spiritual world and this world both open at the same time for you? Because you're probably someone who's meant to incorporate both. How can you incorporate wealth and accumulate wealth that can help people spiritually? See, that's that master number 33 energy. Is how can you take that right there and do something that's going to nurture others? So yeah. And then when you say all your life you can't see things that the naked eye could ever see ever since, I mean, for those of us that tuned in, I don't see things. I feel things, and sometimes I don't want to say hear, but I sense it because it's not audible out loud. But I become aware of things. So I would say that's my gift. And so I can catch, or whether it's clairaudience, where I catch messages, where I hear it, it's inside of me, but I hear it, or whether it's me sensing stuff. As far as intentions and notions, that's my gift. But because I'm scared, and I've almost saw something before. This is an honest experience. I was having an experience, a spiritual experience, and I felt there was this presence that was with me, and it was communicating with me, but it was about, I could sense that it was trying to make me see, or I was going to, I just shielded my eyes. I put my head down like that. I had my head down like that, and I just said, please don't show, I don't want to see, I'm scared. I remember I kept begging, like I was having this spiritual experience, and I just kept saying, please, I don't want to see, I'm scared, please, like, do not do that. I cannot handle that. I do not want to see. I kept saying, I do not want to see. And so I could feel like it almost saying like, look, and I'm like, nah, I don't want to see, just tell me. And I remember I was begging in that experience saying, just tell me, just talk to me, just tell me. Like, I don't want to see, I can hear you, I can feel you just fine, just tell me. And it's only, one of the few experiences I've had, but it was very, very intense. Very intense. Ooh-wee. Let's see. Now, could I explain what Jupiter in the 12th house retrograde means? It means you have luck. It means you have luck. It might not feel like it because it doesn't come through until the very last minute, but you do have luck. It's like a guardian angel that comes through to save you at the very, very last minute. So much so that it's like, damn. And sometimes it's just keeping you from the worst happening, that retrograde. It's not like it helped you out any, it just saved you from the worst happening. So sometimes you can't see the true blessings that you have. So it doesn't feel like you have good luck at all. Sometimes it actually feels like, man, like I keep getting hit after hit after hit, but it could be worse. It definitely could be worse. And so if your luck doesn't come through at the very last minute with that and it operate like a guardian angel in that way, what it does operate is it just saves you from the worst happening. And it all really boils down to you being grateful and you realizing you're blessed. When you realize you're blessed, you're blessed. When you realize you're blessed, you're blessed. Not when you're waiting for your blessings or waiting for you to get lucky. No, you are blessed. You have to learn the amazing feeling of being grateful. So yeah. Yup. We got 4 more minutes.
My request is about 15.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you. But yeah. How would I describe a Leo sun, Libra moon, Gemini rising? You know who I would describe that as funny as it is, Rich Wealthy? That's Coach Prime. That's Deion Sanders. How would I describe you? Deion Sanders. Those are Deion Sanders placements. And look how prosperous he is. Look how many people he helps. Look at the light he's shining from his own light. See, that's the beautiful thing about Coach Prime. People will say, oh, he's just getting attention. No, he's bringing attention to a whole program and to the whole college football assembly. Like college football is the most prominent sport there is right now. It's overshadowing. And it's a program that's not even a winning program here in the United States. It's because Deion Sanders has took over the University of Colorado, and he has made it a fucking business. He's just made it an awesome business. He's copywriting every phrase. It's personal. Coach Prime. This. He's making sure his kids are getting money that are coming to that program. He's shedding light on his HBCUs, historical black colleges and universities. He's shedding light on the system with college football. He is showing he's showing up against racism. Like, there's so many ways he's helping. So many ways. So when you say, how would I describe that? You're somebody who is so cool and you have such amazing people skills. But it also seems like you're always trying to sell something. With that, Libra, Leo, Gemini, it seems like you're always trying to sell something. So some people see through that shit. Rich, wealthy. Some people see through that shit. You come across like a cheap car salesman sometimes. But most other people, they take that shit hook, line, and sinker. So I can see how that plays out for you. Now, X Magic City X. You said, how do I feel about a Cancer rising too? Because you have that in your chart. Hush, man. Anybody trying to hear that? Anybody trying to hear you lying? Your name is Rich Wealthy, bro. Everything is for sale. Everything is for sale. Now, I'm just giving you a hard time. I love you too. But look, we only got a few more minutes. Let me answer X Magic City X's question real fast. How do I feel about a Cancer rising too? You're just a family-oriented person. And your parents' relationship to each other really has an influence on everything, or the lack thereof. It's had an influence on everything else in your life. It's had an influence on everything else in your life. And so your family is always going to be at the forefront for you because of that. And, with Cancer rising, you probably are big chested also. I mean, that's the first thing. Being a person, and that could be just, that's the first thing you tell me as an astrologer. You tell me that you're a Cancer rising, I'm immediately gonna think how your chest looks. Male or female. I'm like, oh, as a dude, he probably got a nice little chest. Female, I'm be like, oh. She got them Tigo. Now, yep, them Tigo bitties. That's Cancer. First thing you notice with Cancer rising is that chest. I'm a Cancer, just a Cancer sun, and I have a huge chest. Like, that's the first thing that sticks out to me about me when you see me being a Cancer. What does part of fortune in Pisces mean? That you need to get some type of job singing and music, in the spiritual realm, something like that. Part of fortune in Pisces means that, first of all, people underestimate you, but there's so much you can do, whether it be in music, in art, in helping people with their faith, in some type of spiritual practice. Like, you could really prosper in that. So there's that. But yeah. Hey, we got 2 more minutes and we got to go. Matter of fact, 1 minute. So I appreciate everybody coming here. This has been an awesome session. I will be back live on Monday. I will be dropping the astrology of Jermell Charlo versus Canelo Alvarez sometime this weekend. I will give my full fight breakdown. For those of y'all that fuck with me for real, I love you. You want to show your appreciation? You can hit that Cash App, which is here in the description, or that PayPal or that Venmo that are in the description, or you can just tell me you love me and shoot me a comment, and that's enough too. And so for those of y'all that do watch this and are watching this after it was live, I love you. If you're interested in any astrological readings, don't get at me in my comments, get at me in my email, which is mr.turner1300@gmail.com. And if you're not a part of the Vibe Tribal Council, you're really disrespecting yourself and selling yourself short. Because not only do you get discounted services, but you also get a chance to be featured here on the channel, and there's several other perks. And it also lets me know that you're really rocking with me. And the more Tribal Council members we get, the more we'll be able to have exclusive content. We haven't had to do anything exclusive for the Tribal Council because we haven't got enough people yet. We need to get over 10, 15, 20 people before we can even do that. And once we get there, we can start doing things exclusively for the Vibe Tribal Council. So I love y'all. I appreciate everything. I'll see y'all live on Monday at some point. Y'all keep it real till next time and enjoy your weekend.